We did 326 million.
Holy shit, man. That's a lot.
Yeah. And we were just kind of talking about goals in 2021 and all of that has in store for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got some pretty lofty goals. He's looking to essentially just shy of double his business from last year.
Double.
Which is kind of wild.
How the fuck are you going to double, bro?
Yeah, well, here's the deal. I mean, what's interesting is, and we were just talking about this, 2020 being our first full year in business, we ended up being in the top 25 for all real estate brokerage firms in the state of Michigan. So this year, our goal is to break the top 10. And so you ask how? I mean, for us, it's, we could talk about what our company does and the value proposition and all these different things. I think too many people, Paul, are getting caught up in, well, what do you offer and all these different things. I think it's more about how we make people feel way more than it is about what we offer. Because when you lead a relationship with like, what are you going to give me? Well, people are quick to leave if they're given something different somewhere else. But people never forget how you make them feel. And it's something that you cannot train. And we're talking about leadership. And this is the thing that's not on a playbook anywhere. It's not on a spreadsheet anywhere. And so we just believe that the real estate agent is our client and we serve them, not the other way around. And so the real estate agent community is just not used to that. They're not used to a brokerage leadership team that pours into them day after day, week after week, asking for nothing in return.
Adding free value. It's kind of like our model, Brandon, at Omega. I mean, the real estate agent is our client as well, right?
That's exactly
so
right.
For us, it's like, how can we add immense value without asking anything in return? I think that's the trick, right? It's not like, hey, I did X, you got to do X, right? It's like, no, we're going to do a whole bunch of shit that's really, really sweet for you. And ultimately, we're going to force your hand to say, okay, Omega is the best to work with, right? Instead of the other way around and saying, telling people we're the best and not really backing it up.
That's exactly right. I mean, it's the law of reciprocity, right? I mean, you can lead in relationships, give, not ask for anything in return.
Yeah.
It's how the universe is going to work, right? I mean, it's just going to come back to you.
Yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head. I mean, any sales at all, people buy feelings, right? And you said, you kind of nailed it. We go by
nothing more
how we make people feel. People buy feelings. The number one thing in sales you try to do is to build rapport with any person you're trying to make a sale to. You want to make a connection because people buy on feelings, not gimmicks.
That's right.
Feelings are feelings. And it means a lot in today's world. It's like if someone feels good, looks good, they're going to play good, right? And it's kind of the same thing with you guys. You guys have built an interesting company. How many agents do you guys have now?
We're just at about 200.
200 agents.
Wild.
So let me ask you this, Brandon. I mean, that's a lot of humans. And to double from year over year, there's one or two things you can do. You can hire more or increase skill, right? That's really the two places where you can kind of attack it. So with 200 people, A, how do you keep all that organized? And B, what's your strategy to get you to double the from year over year, right?
Yeah.
Is it more people or is it more skill?
Yeah, good question. So first, I'm going to answer the first question, which was, hey, how do we keep this whole thing organized?
Yeah.
Which is talented people on the team, on our brokerage services team. Again, we talk a lot about leadership. Well, it's very, very true to run a company of this size, and we're growing by 20, 30 agents per month. It's about systems, processes, and great leadership. So I think a lot of business people, entrepreneurs, try to do everything themselves. They understand if you talk about leverage, they get it, right? If you talk about it, but when it comes to actually doing it, like hiring somebody at a company, they don't understand what it takes to pour into that individual. I call it the rubber band effect. Like you're going to have to take a step back to pour into this person so that you can take 10 steps forward so they can help you build your business. Everybody wants instant gratification. They want to hire the assistant or the ops person and want instant results. It just doesn't happen that way. So number one, to serve the agents like we're talking about, our brokerage services team, we've spent a lot of time developing them, and hiring the right people would be number one. Number two, your second question is, I would answer it with both. We're going to hire the right real estate agents moving forward because we're no longer in a position where we need to grow just for the sake of growth, number one. So It's hiring the right real estate agent for the right reasons, who's a good fit for who we are. And then two, spending the majority of our time, Paul, working on our skills. I believe that the job of a real estate broker is to develop the real estate agent's skills. Here's the problem we all, I think, would agree. That doesn't happen. I don't care what company it is. Across the globe, the brokers aren't training. They're not coaching. They're not developing leaders. They're not doing any of that. This is why you see these massive coaching companies out there getting rich, because the brokers are not providing the development inside the company. And that's what I believe the number one job of a broker is.
You know, in the past,
do you mean the broker's job isn't to provide a place to work and collect a fee from the agents? That's not the main job.
That's how it was historically, right, Brandon? In the old days, it was like, here's a phone book, grab your sphere and figure it out, and here's your pay plan, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to take off the top. Now, some companies try to do it, right? So why is it different at Brookstone, right? Why isn't, like, because Keller Williams tries to do a lot of the trainings. People don't attend them, but people, they try to do a lot of trainings, and other companies try to do it. Why is it different at Brookstone? Is it just a more of acute attention to it and understanding, or is it that these other places just do it just to do it and don't have a lot of thought behind it and just do it just to say it?
Two things. One is the mindset that we're talking about. Like, if the the four of us went to go work at Ford Motor Company, we would not have to hire a coach outside of Ford Motor Company to teach us how to do our job at Ford Motor Company. They would teach us. Like, isn't that just like funny, right? To even think about that. So one, we have to have the mindset that as broker owners of these companies, it is our responsibility to develop the people at our company. That is our number one focus. Number two, Paul, to your question, is you have to, the training and the teaching has to provide value, because here's why. And I mean this with much love and much respect for the broker owners out there. I know how hard it is, but the reality is rarely do you find a broker owner of a real estate brokerage firm who succeeded at a very high level as a real estate agent first. So it's typically the opposite. If you go into these old companies, the managing broker, they never sold 50, 80, 100. They never did 40, $50 million in sales volume, not ever. So for them to turn back around and then try to develop their people, well, simple. I mean, they can't. I mean, if you haven't walked the walk, how are you going to show anybody how to do it? So those would be the things that I think about.
Those who can't do, teach. Right. So that's interesting. So it's and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I do want to ask a few more questions. Do you plan on expanding out of state, or have you already expanded out of state?
Yeah. Awesome question. We are. Yes. I mean, it's funny. This is like probably the first media outlet that's hearing this. So good for you guys. Good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are going to break state lines in 2021. The first place we're going to go is going to be Florida.
Yeah.
We have a huge network down there of agents that support what we're doing here. And so that'll be our first step.
How did you get that support? How did they hear about what you're doing in Michigan? You know what I mean? Like, did you know people and kind of that seeded itself almost like grassroots? Did you kind of market them? How did you get excitement there?
The content I do on my YouTube channel.
Got it.
So my YouTube channel is all built for real estate agents all over the world. I just was on the phone call last night with an agent in Australia that we're potentially looking at some opportunities there as well. And then we've got some people in South Africa. And so all over the globe, we're pouring into the real estate agent community, regardless of location, which will be interesting in how we move forward. Because to this point, scaling a real estate brokerage across state lines. KW first did it, right, with their expansion model, and now the EXP is taking that by storm. I think you're going to see more and more models of able to scale their companies that are not hindered on geographic local markets.
You mentioned something kind of funny, not funny, but interesting. YouTube, right? In today's world, like we're doing a podcast right now, right? In today's world, I don't know how many agents spend a real legitimate amount of time trying to market themselves on YouTube, on atypical media outlets. You know, in our world, Brandon, in the past, it was billboard, television, traditional media for real estate agents. That was it.
Yeah.
That's where everybody went. And we believe that is like the last thing you should be doing in the cycle of marketing, right? If you should, there it is. What is that?
Listen, Paul, you're
there it is.
You are nailing it. If you are in real estate or you are in the mortgage business and you do not make content like an absolute freak,
animal,
you're going to lose.
Yes.
You're going to lose. The eyeballs are on social. And if you're not there and your competitors are, you're going to lose. And so the book I just held up for everybody that's listening to the podcast is Crushing It. Not Gary Vee's first book, Crush It. Crushing It. It's his newer version. You got to go and get it. It's an absolute stop what you're doing today. Go get the audio version and listen to it as fast as you can so you don't get left behind. You've got to go all in on content. This year, we've got a full-time editor. We're making 3 to 5 pieces of new content per day.
It's a ton, dude. That's a ton.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Who's making the content? Is it all you, or is it are you getting other people involved?
I'm getting other people involved. I'm shooting the content, but now we've fully leveraged the media team.
Yeah.
So we shoot it, and then we got an editor, we got someone handling our Instagram and all this other stuff. And so, I just think it's the way we've won. Like, how did Brookstone win? Well, dude, we've been loud. We don't just sit back and just wait for people to show up. We're screaming from the mountaintops what we believe, and people do business with you based on your belief system. So that's what's worked for us.
It's interesting. You offer a lot of value for your pay plan. You know what I mean? It's a ton of value for what you guys. A lot of places charge more and give less.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And you've done it the opposite. You charge less and do more. And that only works, I think, Brandon. To be fair, with the amount of people that you have, I think you needed to have X amount of agents to make that work. Am I right?
You're 100% right. I mean, the things I would add there, number one is that's how I believe when I talk about the value exchange. That's the problem with business, with our industry. Everybody has their hands out wanting give me referrals, give me money, give me. So when you pour into people the opposite way, they're not used to it. So this is why our company has grown so fast, number one. And then number two is you have to be able to do what Jeff Bezos talks about and stay underwater. My business partner and I, we didn't take a dollar from the company for over a year. We didn't take one penny. And most business owners, they want to get paid on Friday. It doesn't work that way. You're not getting paid right away when you start a new business. That's the reality.
Yeah. No, it is tough to start a new business, but a lot of people want to just start, we're making money. Let's take the money, right? Instead of reinvesting it back in the business. So that's a hard thing to do, reinvesting all that money back into the business, but you did it because so talk to me about this as a visionary, as a leader of the company. Does your vision ever get muddled, or are you very clear all the time? Because I know for me personally, sometimes I'm like, man, my head's spinning. There's all this stuff going on. There's days where it just feels foggy, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately, we're pointing in the direction that we're going, right? And we keep driving towards that every day, incrementally. Is that kind of the same way with you, or are you kind of going off of another script? Or is this something that you're creating on? You know what I mean? Like,
Is it, I'm foggy every day. And I agree with you 100%. I believe the learning is in the doing. And so there's no script for this. There's no playbook. You just, all right, what's the next page saying? No, we learn every single day. And I'll tell you the most productive thing that I can do as a leader, and hopefully your listeners, this will make a big impact with them, is to do nothing and think. Because we're so busy doing things all the time that the best work that I can do is break away from the noise, to your point, break away from the clutter and sit down, throw some classical music on with my notebook and say, dude, where are we going? Let me zoom out and say, okay, here's all the shit we got going on. Are we headed towards the North Star or not?
Yeah.
Are we headed in the right direction? And I think people get caught up in the busyness of being in business and they don't spend enough time in thought. And I just started doing that. It's been a game changer for me to get clear on making better decisions.
That's why people have the best ideas in the shower. They say that you're by yourself, you're in your zone. I know Sal get out of the shower and he's got great ideas. But
are you there? Are you typically there when he gets out of the shower?
No, I'm not there. I'm watching though. I'm watching. So Brandon, how hard was it? Because you were a producer, right? So like you were a producer that was making money and working every day, and you were really great at your craft. You were a great agent. You can make a lot of money doing that, right?
Yeah.
How hard was it to let go of the production mentality and go into a leadership mentality for you? Because it's hard for producers sometimes to make that switch.
Hardest thing I've ever done.
Really?
Yeah, because of the delayed gratification. I talk a lot about this with people that I coach and that I mentor, that I do some consulting with. Like, we are absolutely 100% addicted to instant gratification. We want to write a loan, get paid. We want to sell a house, get paid.
Yep.
When you ask somebody to bleed, to go into pain for a long period of time without getting any return, most humans just can't do that. And so it's the same thing with real estate or salespeople. The work you do today won't manifest for months in the future. And if you're not okay with that, go get a job. It's okay. It's okay. But the reality is, like, you have to practice going. This is why I have all my students, all my agents take cold showers in the morning, because we're trying to master the morning. Put yourself into pain, delay the gratification. We're too addicted to being comfortable, sleeping in, eating donuts, not working out, taking hot showers when it should be cold. Like, you've got to start loving the pain. We call it take the hill. Don't go through the drive-through. Park as far as you can and walk into the store. Get off your ass. Put yourself in pain. Take the path of most resistance, and you'll reap the rewards for it.
It's interesting that you say that, because I've always said that when faced with two decisions, a hard one and an easy one, generally speaking, the right decision is almost always the harder path.
100%.
Right? Like, if something looks really easy, it's generally not worth doing.
That's the thing, man. Like, if you look at my company, it was so hard, and most people, I think even you guys asked me, like, well, aren't you scared about someone just copying your model?
Yeah.
Not at all. Don't try it, dude. It is so freaking hard. I will give you the play-by-play. That's why I'm not scared.
It's all about execution, right?
It's all about execution.
And yeah.
I thought about this last night, Paulie. Like, you and I grew up at Quicken Loans.
Yep.
And, like, it's no secret what they do. They smash everyone's face with internet leads. And there's thousands of companies trying to do it. They all fail. Yep. It's all about execution. It's not about knowing what to do. It's how you do it.
Why isn't everyone healthy and ripped?
That's exactly right. Why is it that medical doctors that know more about the human body than anybody else are the most unhealthy profession in the world? Over 50% of all medical doctors are out of shape and unhealthy, yet they know more about the human body than anybody else.
That's an interesting stat. I've never known that. I didn't know that. But in Greece, they're really bad. I remember being in Greece. The doctor was smoking a cigarette in his office inside the hospital.
I mean, it's, like you said, I mean, all the playbooks, everything is already out there. It's no secret, like you said, what you do, but doing it day in and day out is the hard part, right?
Information has no value without implementation.
Yeah, man. I talk about this all the time. Like, it's execute. Like, you could have a great idea. Everybody has great ideas. Everybody has great ideas.
Why doesn't everyone have the top IQ? I mean, you have the internet.
That's right.
You can search any fact, but if you don't take the time to actually learn it, right?
Yeah.
And train yourself, you're not going to get any better. You're not going to be this. You're not going to be ripped. You're not going to be rich. You're not going to do whatever you want to do, right?
100%.
Brandon, what's next in the age of the internet for the real estate agent? Does that make sense? Does that question make sense?
Yeah. I think that there's billions of dollars being poured into this industry to try to disrupt the industry as much as you can. You've got Zillow and iBuyer and all these different things. I think the one thing that technology, Paul, just at least right now, has not figured out to do what we said when we started the show, which was humans are emotional creatures and we make decisions off emotion and we justify them later with logic. So technology has not figured out how to replace the human connection, even more so now through the pandemic, that it can't replace that. And so it can provide information, but when it comes to consulting and making decisions and what's the right thing, I mean, technology has not been able to do that. So from that standpoint, certainly, I think technology will continue to move at the speed of light to enhance efficiencies. But as far as, replacing the human to human connection, I just can't see that happening.
My theory, Brandon.
There's an argument that at some point the technology, the benefits of all the benefits of all the technology will outweigh that human to human interaction, and it will start to take over. Because at some point there is a give and take there. You're gonna take all that extra benefits and give up that human reaction.
You're gonna lose that human, and a lot of people don't want to do that, bro. On their biggest
currently, but there's an argument that as technology continues to develop, they'll give up that human interaction for the efficiencies.
I think you're seeing it through COVID, though. Just to give you push back on that, you're seeing through COVID that people crave human interaction, right? And when you start removing it completely, so it'll be interesting. There is an argument for that.
Yeah, I think it depends on the service, right? I mean, right now it's like click button, receive product in a day, right? I mean, that to me, and I think to most people, probably outweighs going to the store and feeling the product or whatever, right? Especially knowing you can return it for free. But when you hear click button, get mortgage, right? I mean, that's like a wound up, spun up joke.
It's a lie.
You know what goes on behind. Well, I mean, click button, start to get mortgage. You could do that on, you could do that through any lead or any lead aggregator, right? Yeah. But I feel like which is far, far behind, but until somehow, some way you could literally click a button, verify yourself, and get a mortgage. Right?
Here's the reality is, I think when there's conversation, Brad, to your point, I think that people look at information as it being black and white, but it's very, very gray. There's going to be a segment of the marketplace that wants different things. And so the thought of like one thing being the end all be all for every human on earth is ludicrous. There's always going to be somebody that wants a Bentley over a Ford Fusion. There's always going to be somebody that wants, personalized attention versus tech. There's always going to be somebody to interact over video than a face-to-face meeting, and so on and so on and so on. I think that for different people want different things. And I agree with what Paul just said. Through this pandemic, here's what I think we would all agree on. The fact that we've all been forced to stay in our house, have no human connection, and not go to restaurants and all these different things. Well, we're doing all these things through technology, but people hate it. Because our biological makeup, we are emotional creatures through biology that you cannot dispute. And so from an emotional creature, we need emotional connection. This is the number one problem with depression, anxiety, and on all of those different things because of what we're talking about here.
Yeah. So do you guys believe in the lead game in real estate? So do you have people doing the Zillow thing, any of that right now?
I am not a fan. It's funny how I grew up was in the internet lead kind of business, right? I don't think that model makes sense for this reason. The person that gives the credit card to buy the lead, the credit trigger or the Zillow lead, they're expecting what? Instant gratification. when they find out that that lead conversion takes 3, 6, 9 months anyway, and they have to go, oh, by the way, pay a whole bunch of money for this information, they thought, Paul, that they were going to exchange the credit card for success overnight when they find out these leads suck.
Still
no
takes
answers,
work.
it's hard work.
Yeah.
So that's one. Number two is the business everybody wants is what? Referral business. Well, how do you do that? Through relationships. Well, you can't buy relationships. Well, maybe you can. You can't buy relationships off a click of a button, you know? So that's number two. And then number three, I think that from the internet perspective, we have an opportunity that, again, Gary talks about in this book, that's way better than internet leads, which is content marketing. I can't tell you how powerful this has been where you make a piece of content that resonates with somebody. They hit you up and say, hey, I saw that video. Love what you stand for. I'd love to do business with you. That to me is way better internet marketing than buying strangers' cell phone numbers off the internet. And then you call them and they're like, what do you want? That's the trick that these marketers are playing.
They don't know you. Now, what if you created your own lead system?
Well, yeah, I would, if the proper channels are in place, like we've got some funnels, right, where you have to watch some videos, ask some questions, are very interactive funnels. Yeah, if you can work on the relationship so that the consumer, so that the consumer can choose their own path that leads them to you,
right?
A completely different experience than a consumer clicking on an ad that they were tricked through clickbait.
Yeah,
you got their information, you call them, and they're pissed that you called. That's what I'm not for.
Not for that.
It goes back to the point from earlier about emotions. You know, sales are made on emotions, and by putting the content out there, like you're talking about, you're almost building a pseudo relationship because people feel like they get to know you because it's genuine content, and you already have a bit of a relationship before you even ever talk.
Whereas, you know what's funny about this?
If you call a lead, they feel tricked. Right, that
totally
relationship is not starting on a good foot.
What's cool about what you're doing, though, Brandon, is, and you know, I see the videos and the posts and whatnot, and basically, without really knowing what you're doing granularly, right? Like I know what you're doing, right? And I feel like as an agent watching this, maybe at some brokerage or whatever they're at right now, right? Maybe thinking about getting into the business, maybe producing at a high level at some other brokerage, you become something in the back of their mind saying, man, maybe I should make a switch, right? So that's like your effective
time. It's all about top of mind awareness. Sal, you know, it's funny, they say the guy that speaks the least typically has the best things to say. Sal just dropped a bomb. You guys should go rewind that and listen to that 150 times over again. He just nailed it. He gets it. I don't go on camera selling and pitching. Come to my company. No. I'm pouring into you, asking for nothing in return to win mind share. So when they think about their broker, they don't make any content. They don't do nothing to pour in the relationship. I just got a message last night from another agent. Dude, I watch all your content. It's super fire. Can I talk to you about your brokerage? He's asking me. This is what we all want, but we're all not willing to do the work and put in the work without asking for anything in return. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's interesting. Go ahead, Brad. Did you have something?
I was just agreeing with him.
Okay. All right. So let's get into the market a little bit. We've got a few more minutes left. So obviously Brookstone is doing some really, really interesting stuff. So kudos on all that, Brandon. It's really good stuff. I've seen the whole thing happen, man. I've known you for a long time. So we've talked a lot over the years, and I know that this was something that you always had in the back of your mind. So congrats on executing. Really, execution is what I give kudos for, and you're executing. So good job on that.
Didn't we have Brandon on right when he was starting?
Yeah,
Brookstone.
We had him we had him and Billy. Yeah, we had him and Billy.
I thought so.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to see the beginning of the whole thing, go rewind that show, and you can kind of see. It's not like your message has changed, Brandon. That's the thing. Your message hasn't changed. You've been consistently consistent and consistently executing. And if you do those two things in our world, you'll be okay. If you're a business owner and you're not executing and you're just having ideas and masturbating over them all day, like, it's not a great move, right?
That's right. 100% agree.
So market wise, crazy market.
Insane.
Stock market's up. Bitcoin is up. Money's flowing into every orifice of our financial system where people can make money. How's it? What, Brad?
It's an interesting choice of words, but go ahead.
Every orifice of the real estate world that you can make money, people are trying to get into right now. Real estate, stocks, Bitcoin. It seems like money's flowing everywhere, right? Do you see the housing market enduring through all that, or do you see a correction in everything, or do you see correction in one segment and then the housing market staying okay?
All right. So the thing that drives housing market for the audience, the listeners, is 100% tied to inventory. Now, to put things in perspective, our inventory right now is in Michigan and pretty much across the country is just over 30 days. This is something we call the absorption rate. So let me give you some context. So when we look at the last crash of 08, 09, and you look at inventory levels, you're talking about 6, 9, 12 months worth of inventory. Now, what is a healthy market, a healthy neutral market is 6 months, 3 to 6 months worth of inventory. This is a nice, healthy market. Good for sellers, good for buyers, really good, right?
Yeah.
We have about just over 30 days of inventory, which means that if not another house hits the market in 30 days, there will be 0 homes for sale.
Think about that.
What happens is interest rates, as you guys know, at bottom, you guys are giving money away for free. So everybody's getting a mortgage.
True.
Yeah, everyone's getting a mortgage, but there's no houses. So every time a nice house hits the market, it's like sharks in infested water. Now, so that's what's happening today. The question is, what happens in the future? Well, the 3 million people that are behind on their mortgage right now, we have to find out if that's artificial through some of the
Forbearance.
Yeah. Say that again.
Forbearance.
Yeah, some of the forbearance and some of the relief programs, or is it actual people late on their mortgages due to layoffs and so on and so forth? That is the thing, Paul, that's going to drive this market one way or the other. If we start to see foreclosures and short sales come into the marketplace late 2021, that will be the thing that puts more inventory into the marketplace pretty fast. If that happens, not that we're going to see a huge downturn like we did in 08, not even close. No, there's no Armageddon talk here. That will slow the market down. If, however, these layoffs and these forbearances and these mortgage lates are artificial, meaning they're in some type of program, and that those mortgage lates are actually only 1 million people, which is normal market. Normally, you get about 1 million people that are behind a mortgage. Yeah. If it goes back to that, after things start to open up, people get back to work, then who knows how long this market will stay hot. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, you know what's funny about the forbearance thing, dude? But even if they're in forbearance and they get out of it, it's just being added to the end of the loan. It's not like they've got to come up with that money, right?
Yeah.
The question is, did they lose their jobs to the point where the forbearance doesn't even fucking matter?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We don't know yet of the 3 million, because the media is going nuts on the 3 million mortgage lates.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who, regardless of whether they've got $500,000 in the bank and have $1,000 mortgage payment, are going to say, "Fuck it. Why would I pay my mortgage right now? I don't have to."
He's exactly right. He just so we don't know. We're going to see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that the only linchpin in the whole entire thing is if people can't make their mortgage. And how is that, the only way that could happen is an explosion or implosion, I should say, of the job market, right? So what is the linchpin potentially to that, right? And how far or likely is it that that's going to happen? Because the issue is that there is no simple inventory fix. The only way that I feel like inventory would flood the market is if all of a sudden all these people who have equity, which would quickly diminish, right, decide to sell their homes because they can't make their mortgage payment.
Yeah, I see it the same way Sal just said.
Yeah, it just really exactly. It's just really interesting because we don't know where's the other shoe? When's it falling? That's kind of how it feels, right? Where is the shoe? Where is it fall? Like I remember before COVID hit, we're like,
is the linchpin the stock market? Is it another pandemic? Right? But who knows?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It all seems kind of crazy. I can't believe how much money is being rolled into the stock market right now.
I feel like, it's kind of morbid, like thinking like, how is the market going to fall apart? It's like trying to predict, like, how are you going to die? right? Like, when is it going to happen? No one really necessarily knows.
That's a great analogy. It's
yeah,
like,
we all know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And if you knew, you'd live probably a very terrible life. So you gotta kind of, you gotta kind of like, unless you like knew, hey, I'm gonna die when I'm 100 in bed, like, but you gotta like live as if, I guess, the crash isn't gonna happen, right? Minus maybe not personally, right, but business wise, you gotta attack and get after it, but save money.
Well, the interesting thing,
it will happen.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about linchpin and what's driving what. Obviously, a lot is dependent on unemployment, right? From a lot of different perspectives. But here's the interesting thing. Through COVID, you've seen a lot of industries boom, go the opposite direction, go up, creating new jobs, creating new opportunities that weren't seen before. These are the unintended benefits of the pandemic. So, one person's getting laid off from this job that was shut down, finding themselves in a brand new career, making more money than they ever have before that they had no plans of. So that is also happening left and right.
Well, it forced a shift of fundamental thinking on how business can be done, right? And
that's right.
It's not even like, and I mean, I guess facts are facts, whatever. I'm not like conspiracy COVID guy or whatever, but like, there's a super low chance you're going to die if you go out and, get your food go sit down at a restaurant. Right. But the way that everyone's thoughts and the way that all the industries had to adapt due to government, shutdowns and whatnot. I mean, look at what we've done. Look at how you guys conducted your business. Think of some of the technologies that now you have. Do agents do Zoom consultations with clients?
Now they do. You have to. You're either doing that or you're dying. Where before, to your point, that was unheard of. And oh, by the way, it's the consumers like it better. It's more efficient. And the agent should too. They can do 10 in a day. That's right.
Right. Instead of sit down and, I mean, some people I'm sure like, the agent coming to their house, but a lot of people do this are like, I don't want someone coming in my house that I may not even work with. Right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting, dude. It's really interesting. So I think a lot with this vaccine going out, like millions of people are being vaccinated. Doors are going to start opening up. Go to Florida, man. Things are open. You know what I mean? Like, like nobody gives a shit down in Florida, and it doesn't seem like their cases are rising too dramatically, which is interesting. But look, I think that eventually we're going to open up, and there's going to be a rubber band effect of like people going out and spending money. What worries me about that is right now inflation is low because the velocity of money is low. We start going out there and spending a ton of money, we could potentially start seeing inflation. In my opinion, inflation scares me the most out of everything because it's real. We were dumping a lot of cash into the market. And if the people start spending it, like, I know it sounds funny, like crazy, it actually potentially will start the roller coaster into inflation because the velocity of money goes up.
So speaking of something that I think is kind of interesting, right? Everyone's like, these housing prices are so crazy. They're so high. But, I feel like in people's heads, they're used to or see 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14. Well, yeah, I mean, values were slashed, right? So pre-crash values, Brandon, do you think they were hyperinflated back then? Or do you think that was kind of where things were getting before the linchpin back then, right? Blew everything up. But now comparably, right? Okay. Like we do refis all the time and you look at the year bought, you look at the price it was, right? And I'm like, wow, you bought your house in 2005. It's only worth 10 grand more now, right? Even though, the one next door sold for half the price in 2010 or 11, right? Post crash. So with that being said, and now that like a lot of things are more expensive, for example, cars, education, things like that, but the values are somewhat like level to pre-crash. Do you think that that's a good thought to think that values aren't super high, they're just recovered fully in a thriving economy to a degree right now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that like the stock market, the real estate market is very similar. It's cyclical. And so it's hard to say, our values. Well, here's what I would say is values will always go up and they'll always go down based on everything we just talked about for the last 5 minutes. And so, 05 was the height of the market. It went down right? And now we're back up or higher than where it was before. And so, I think a lot of consumers, to your point, have a tough time accepting that, but they don't just always go up like we once thought forever and ever and ever and ever. What goes up must come down. That's the way of the world, and so there has to be
a correction.
Yeah, there has to be a correction.
But I think there's to a degree, right, with the way that everything is to a degree relative higher in cost, there's a floor that probably in the past year or two has I don't want to say it's a complete floor, right? It's still a potential glass floor, but one that can support, I think, values, right? On a $500,000 house, maybe it will go to $450,000, but you're probably not going to be able to snag that for $200,000 anytime soon, right?
No.
You're not going to simply go out and buy, a car for $2,000 again.
Yeah, nobody's finding deals right now.
The foundation the foundation of the market got upgraded. It's a much more solid foundation than it was before.
Yeah, and the reason is because of you three in the mortgage industry. Because that's the thing is you talk about inflation or not inflation. You talk about inflated values. Well, I don't know if it's much as values as much as it was mortgage companies giving a $500,000 loan to somebody that works at Starbucks,
no income, no asset. Nina's, baby.
That's right. Yeah. That to me was the bigger challenge, right? That's the thing that crushed the market.
Well, true investors invested into rebuilding the market on a safe, sound base, right? The money started flowing again, but it wasn't easy to get.
Yeah.
Like you said, right? You couldn't be a barista and buy a, Birmingham Colonial.
That's right. Well, and that's the thing. These investment banks, they're buying mortgage-backed securities like they always have. Dude, that was just a total Wizard of Oz. You pull behind the curtain, and it's well, these aren't real loans. Now, dude, it's hard to get a mortgage.
It is harder. It's a lot harder.
And that's the way it should be. People actually qualify. They actually have to document shit.
You got to put money down.
It's easy to get a mortgage with us. Give us a call.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's just
nice.
It is crazy, though. I mean, I hope that they do revamp some things. It's super hard to get a mortgage if you're self-employed. You could have money in the bank to buy the house cash outright, and you can't.
And that's the point. Whereas before, you showed up and they're giving, well, how much do you want?
I mean, overall, I think it's a good thing. But
me too.
Some people, it's so easy to get a mortgage despite how shitty their situation is.
I know.
$1 above the amount needed to close in the bank. They've got garbage credit. They had a bankruptcy 2 or 3 years ago. They've been on their job for 2 months. It's okay, you can get a mortgage, but Mr. 800 credit score. Sorry, I know your business shut down for 2 months and right now you're rip roaring, but your P&L's down. You're not going to get it.
It's insane. That's a whole episode.
We could do a whole episode on that.
Yeah, but there's no way, I guess, for the market to put a microscope on every single deal. There's no way Fannie and Freddie are going to do that. So they have to have some oversight to some degree. And it hurts some, it helps others. But, in the end, I think
tighter is better.
Yeah. I think it goes back to what Paul said earlier. I mean, the point he made was given the choice between an easy thing and a hard thing, the hard thing's the way to do it. It's going to build a better foundation. It's going to give you better rewards in the end. It's not going to be cheap, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with mortgages. Same thing in almost every aspect of life.
Well said, Bradley. Yeah. Well said.
So let's get into 3 questions. I want to get Brandon back to his millions and millions of agents he's got to run. So, Brandon, 3 questions. You guys got anything?
I'll
don't today.
I like the one, if you could be anywhere, like a fly on the wall, right? In any historical event, it could be anything, right? History, sports, whatever. What would it be?
I would be in the huddle in Kobe Bryant's last championship game.
Just be a part of the
pregame huddle?
Yeah.
That's interesting. All right. So you a big Kobe fan?
Very big.
Yeah. God rest his soul. So next question is, if you could be any person for a week and live a week in their shoes, who would it be and why?
That's a tough question. You guys should have gave me some time to think about these.
That's the point. You don't get any time.
Yeah, fair enough. So I'll just.
He goes, that's the point.
Yeah.
Past or present. It could be a past or present person.
I would probably, man, I want to say one name, but I don't want to be judged for it.
No judgment. This is no judgment zone. And nobody watches the show. You're fine, Brandon.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. It'd be funny. It's just, I don't know, like I think about Dan Bilzerian, you know?
Oh, be Bilzerian for a week?
Dude, that would be crazy.
It depends. It might not be as crazy as you think. It might be just a bunch of pictures, and all of a sudden he goes and lays down in his bed.
Per the question, you know, you come back sin-free. You know, like
you're clean. You can do whatever you want. You're not judged. Yeah.
Well, and I just, you know, for you know, the why is just like to live life like it's not about the girls. It's not about all that stuff. It's more about like the way he lives life with no regard for what people think of him. That's more about what I'm talking about. It's less about what he does, but just to live life like that for a week would be just insane.
All right, here's my next question. If you could have invested in Tesla 3 years ago and put $1 million into that, and right now you'd probably be multimillionaire, don't need to work, right? Or if you had $1 million back then and invested in yourself, which one would you rather do? Knowing what you know now that Tesla's going to blow up, but you have $1 million 10 years ago, do you put it invest yourself, or do you put it into Tesla?
In myself, 100%.
That's interesting, but you'd make more money on Tesla, bro.
I don't care. You know, it's money. Money is a byproduct, not the leading cause of happiness. And so fulfillment for me is the path of self-discovery. So $1 million into myself, there is no better investment into your personal development. I don't care what the amount of money would be.
That's interesting. I mean, I agree with that. Some people would be like, I want to be rich as fuck. So, but there's different types of people for sure.
A lot of miserable rich people, man. And that's just the truth. I know people that struggle with money. They have a hard time hearing that.
Yes.
It's not because of the money.
No.
I'll leave the show with this. Okay. Sarah Blakely. Do you guys know who that is?
Mm-mm.
The owner of Spanx. She has one of the best quotes I've ever heard in my entire life. Who you are now just manifests and 10x's it when you have money. So if you're an asshole and you're miserable without money, when you have money, it makes it worse. You know, if you're unhappy without money, when you have more money, you'll be more unhappy. So money just magnifies who you already are. And so if you're a great person, money can help you. So it's not the money. You are who you are. The money is the byproduct.
Yeah, it's self-discovery, self-growth, self-investment. I believe in that too, man. So that's a great answer. I know that was an odd question, but Brandon, tell the audience how they can find you. I know you're everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, the best way to communicate with me right now is on Instagram. I'm just at Brandon Mulrenan. So go on there, follow me. I'm doing daily content on there, hoping to provide your business, your entrepreneurial life value. And that's what my content's all about on my Instagram.
Yeah, if you're looking for free value, Brandon has always offered his expertise, whether it was charged or not. So kudos to you, man. You're building something really great. Really happy you took the time to spend with us, man. I know you're busy. So anything you want to say before we go?
No, man, I appreciate the work that you guys do. I mean, this podcast has been running, I don't know for how long. It's been one of your guys' strategies. It's a great strategy that I think people are finally picking up on. Like, you should have a podcast.
Yeah.
It allows you to build relationships. So kudos right back to you guys for being one of the pioneers of this, especially in the mortgage space. It's done so much for your guys' business. And so I love all the work you guys are doing.
I appreciate it, man. Well, listen, thank you so much for doing the show, dude. Kudos to you again. And then we'll talk to you soon. We'll talk to you. I'm sure we'll have you back on, and you'll have 400 agents and you'll be dominating. I know it.
Well, appreciate you guys having me on, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks a lot.
All right, brother. Be good. Be good.